Alright, so I'm going to be opening up and disassembling this HP Omen. There's a model 15-DC0030NR. Alright, so we're going to have to use a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver to remove the screws. You want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. This is actually my brother's laptop. It's getting dusty and he said it was running kind of hot and the fans were loud, so we're going to be cleaning it up. Alright, so we're going to remove all the screws. First thing when you remove the screws is you want to put them with the flat side down on your desk and keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Alright, so we got one screw there, we got another screw here. These screws, the ones in the middle here, are much longer. Okay, and then these outer screws seem to be shorter. Again, I like to keep the screws in order, so even if they look the same, I try and put them back in the same spot that I took them out. Alright. There's also a shorter screw. Okay, this is also a shorter screw. On this, they like to put these weird little circles here. I don't know why, but it kind of makes it look like there's screws hidden under there, but I'm pretty sure there's no screws hidden under there, because it's directly underneath the fans. Alright, so I don't know if there's any hidden screws on this model. It looks like all the screws are out. I don't know if they're hiding screws under here. We'll try and pop the cover off and we'll find out. Alright, so to remove the cover, let's see if it will come off. I usually will open the computer like this, and then what I do is I get my fingernails in the gap here, okay, where the cover is. Oh, he left it on, so that's another thing. You want to make sure to shut down your computers. Oh, it's not touchscreen, so I need to... Let me make sure he's okay with me completely shutting it off, and I will be back. Alright, here you can actually hear how the fans are running. Okay, so I'm going to open it up. Let me ask him what he wants me to do, if he's okay with me shutting it off. I don't know if he left things on, and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back, so he just shut it down. Alright, so again... Let's open up the screen. Again, there's the gap here. So we're going to try and pop the cover off that way. Okay, so let's open this up. Right, use your fingernails in there, and then let's try and pop the cover off. Let's see. So this cover doesn't seem to want to come out like that, so we're going to have to see what we got to do here. Alright, let's see. This cover seems pretty stuck on there. Let's try with a suction cup. Alright. So suction cup here. Ooh, that works. Okay. So suction cup here. It looks like it helps pull the cover up. I'm going to try and, while pulling the cover up, to use my fingernail under here. And that's kind of working. Alright. There we go. And that's kind of working. Let's go over to the other side. Same thing. Alright. Same thing, pull that up and get underneath the cover while we're pulling on this. There we go. Alright, so this seems to be working. Okay, I'm going to rotate. Oops, did I just snap it all back down? Alright, let's do this again. Make sure these clips are up. Okay, same thing with this one. Okay, so those clips are coming out. Let's see if we have to remove the keyboard or something first. Nope, keyboard is embedded underneath, so the cover just has some strong clips. Alright, so with the suction cup we were able to get the side and the front out. Alright, so we're going to continue going along the side here. Okay, just like this. I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can tell what I'm doing here. And the cover is pretty strong on there, so let's see, we're going to continue going to this side. Same thing, popping this cover up. Alright, looks like the middle is coming out now. Alright, still has some clips there holding it in place, so the clips are pretty strong. Let's see if moving it around helps. No, not really. Okay, so these clips on this model is pretty strong. There we go. So we're just going to keep going around and unclipping this. Hopefully nothing is breaking in here because these clips are holding pretty strong. Okay, So we're just going to keep going here. I'm going to show what the clips look like underneath after I get all of this out, so hopefully you can kind of see where the clips are and how they're designed. And that way you can do it without risking breaking anything. So far it seems okay. Alright, let's wiggle this. Are there any weird clips here? No. Okay, so this is all looks like it's coming out. Let's try and get underneath here. So it goes down this way and then it runs along the back here, it looks like. Alright, most of this is out. Let's try and wiggle this. Nope, it's still holding really strong. So let's try suction cup on the back here. Okay. We don't want to accidentally clip it all back down. Suction cup is not really working with this. So we're going to have to go ahead and try and pry underneath, it looks like. Okay. So here the clips go sideways up here, it looks like. Okay. It doesn't seem to want to budge. I don't know if my brother said I opened this before, but I don't know because this is seeming kind of like a pain to remove, so I don't know if I've removed this before. Alright, so under here there's like a gap, so it probably is going to pry up there, but let's see. Oops, I clipped these back down, so let's pull these clips back out again. There we go. Wow, this laptop is pretty difficult to pop apart. So, I'm going to try and work on it sideways like this. It does seem like this part moves around, but it's not coming out at all. So I'm not sure. Let's suction cup again. There we go. Okay, suction cup helped. We might be breaking some clips. Let's see here. Alright, let's go this way again. Same thing, suction cup here. And kind of pull on this. Oh, these clips went back in. And these clips go back too easily. Okay, so I'm going to keep my finger here to keep those clips disengaged. And let's try and pull this up. There we go. Alright, so let's look inside and see what the clips actually... Whoa, his battery's actually going bad here. So the clips... Okay, the clips actually look like this. So they actually curve in and go into the sides of the laptop here. Doesn't look like any of the clips broke, so that's good. Okay. Yep, the clips all look to be intact. So I am going to be just cleaning out the dust here. Usually to do that, I just use a toothbrush and I will hold the blades and I will brush it like this. And then I use a powerful air blower and just blow the dust that way and then blow it back the other way. Alright, anyways, so there's the bottom cover. Set that aside. It looks like there's an M.2 SATA SSD here, not a PCIe NVMe. So we're going to remove that. There's one screw here. If you want to be safe, you can actually remove the battery first. Actually, let me do that real quick. So there's a M.2 SATA SSD, and then there's a regular SATA hard drive here. And underneath here, there's the RAM. So it looks like there's 2 RAM slots, but they're only using 1 stick of RAM. To remove the RAM, you just pull these 2 metal tabs to the side, okay, away from the RAM, and it pops up like this. After you pop it up, you can pull the stick of RAM out. And the RAM here is PC42666V. This is a 16 gig stick, so if you want, you can get another 16 gig stick. I'm going to just wipe off the pins like that. But yeah. So you can actually put in another 16 gig and have 32 gigs. You do want to check yours first just to be sure, because sometimes the models will vary. They might use 2 8 gig sticks in yours. You don't know. You won't know until you actually open it up and check. Alright, so let's put the stick of RAM back in. To put it back, you put it at an angle like that. Alright, it's floppy like that. And then you just press it down. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. We got this seems to be the GPU under here, and then this is the CPU. They are soldered to the board, so you can't remove them. Okay, we got the... Okay, so the SATA hard drive. Let's see if I can remove this without what do you call it, without pulling out this cable and everything. It looks like there's kind of a wire here. I don't know if that's for the DC jack. It looks like this is most likely for the charge port. All right, and yeah, all right, so let's see if we can pull up the hard drive. The bottom here has some little feet that go under there, so we're gonna have to actually pull it up from this side. All right, it is coming up. And what you want to do to remove this SATA connector, I use my fingernails, but I'm gonna kind of just wiggle it like that out. Okay, so just like this, let's pull it up, and then we can, while you're holding it up slightly, you can kind of twist this to pop that out. Same thing with the other side. All right, and there we go. And then you can lift the hard drive out and the little feet here come out. So there's not much slack with this cable. You can actually undo, this cable and take it out first, but again, there's not much slack, so it makes it a little difficult. And again, so that thing was actually popping apart. So let me show you a way to actually remove this without having that connector popping apart. So let me put this back in. All right, so we're going to put the hard drive back down. You want to hold this cable out of the way, slowly drop it, all right? And then once you get that, you can kind of lift it slightly. It's a little tricky here, but do that, rotate it back down, and push that into place. All right, so what you can do, if you have you want a thin and wide tool to do this, all right, make sure your computer's off, of course. But anyways, lift this up slightly. And what you do is you pull this slightly back, and now you can see there's a gap, so you get the tool in there, and then you just twist it, and as you can see, it pops that connector off. Go on, same thing on the other side. Go ahead and twist it, all right, and there we go. So that's how you would disconnect that without putting too much pressure on that little cover, and then you can pop it out. Anyways, I'm going to put this back, push the drive back into place. All right, you got the wireless card here, the two antennas. Just like every other model, to get the antennas out, you just go underneath the tail and pull it straight up. All right, and then they snap back down. Just make sure you line it up and push it back down. If you want to see how to do that, I have other videos on other laptops. You can watch those. All right, then you got there's one screw holding it down. When you take it out, it'll pop up like the RAM, and then you can just pull it back. Let's actually take the battery out, because this battery does look kind of bad, so I'm gonna kind of just go over what's underneath, and we'll also see the battery model number here, which is SR04XL. All right, actually let me zoom out so you can see. All right, so we're gonna take all 4 screws out from the top of the battery here. This SSD comes out in the same way as the wireless card. I'll actually show you. There's just one screw, and then it pops up like the RAM. All right, so the battery, once you remove the 4 screws, you can grab it and you want to pull it up this way, okay? So it pops up like this, all right? And then you can pull the little feet out. So here you can see this battery is pretty bad. This laptop isn't even that old, so I don't know if it's a bad design, defective battery, or what's going on. Maybe it runs too hot because he leaves it on a lot. But yeah, anyways, the battery model number is SR04XL, or you can use the HP spare part number, which is this 917724-855. Right, so we're going to set that aside. I'm going to clean out the dust under here. So under here, you got the trackpad connector here. I believe, is that a fingerprint sensor? I didn't really pay attention. No, there's no fingerprint sensor there, so I'm not sure. Oh, okay, that's the SD card reader. Wow, that's a very thin SD card reader. Okay, so SD card reader here, you got the keyboard connector here. The keyboard connector comes out just with these little flip latches, then you can pull the connector out. I'm going to leave it in there, but that's how you would remove it. All right, you also got the keyboard backlight connector here, same idea. I'm not sure what this little connector is for there. I don't see a label or anything on it, so I'm not sure. There's only 4 pins on it, so I don't know what that is, but there's only 4 pins, so maybe this is for some models with a fingerprint reader, I'm not sure. All right, so anyways, you got the fan connector here. This one pulls up. You got a connector here to the main board, which is for the USB port, the headphone jack, and the microphone. And then again, the SSD, we're just going to take that out. There's one screw, right? After you take that screw again, it pops up, and then you can kind of wiggle and pull it back. It looks like, I don't know, they put a metal shield here with a thermal pad to help transfer the heat out. But the SSD here, this is only 128 gigs. Actually, it's a PCIe NVMe SSD. So it's not SATA, it's actually PCIe NVMe. And that's why I don't always go based on like the little notches in it, because you never know. Alright, so this is PCIe NVMe SSD. If you want, you can upgrade this to a larger one, and then you can actually put everything on the SSD instead of putting it on the hard drive, and that will actually make the computer run a lot faster if you're running stuff off the spinning drive. Okay, so that's pretty much all there is in here. I'm going to clean up the dust and then we'll put it back together. But yeah, I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I'm back. So I cleaned out all the dust from this. I cleaned it out from the fans. So to clean the dust, let me see if I can show actually. So what I do, usually I'll take the toothbrush, I'll hold this, and then I'll use the toothbrush and I'll go like this. First I'll keep going this direction, and then after that I go the other direction. Alright, and that makes sure to get the dust from both sides of the blades. Do that on both sides. Then I'll get my powerful electric air blower. I'll blow air this way, and then I'll blow air back the other way. And then all the dust balls will come out, and then I'll blow the air back the other way and make sure that no more dust comes out. But that's pretty much it. If you want, you can use something like this, but it's not as powerful to get all the dust from the, what would you call that? The heatsink, like radiator part. Alright, but anyways, we're going to put the battery back in. So you slide it like this. Oh, there's actually some dust in the fans here, or the speakers here, so let me try and clean that out a little bit. You want to be gentle with the speakers because you don't want to damage them or puncture them. Alright, there was some like weird paper or leaf thing stuck in part of the mesh where the speaker is, so I'm going to clean that out. Alright, so that's good. Okay, again, we'll put the battery back. You slide the little feet down first. Right, once you do that, let this go drop down. You want to make sure that the little pins line up here, and then after that you can kind of, I push it upwards a little bit to make sure that the pins go as close as possible, and then you can push this back down. Alright, so he's probably going to have to replace this battery soon because it is bulging out and pushing against the mouse or the trackpad, but I don't know, I think he uses a regular mouse, so he probably won't care. But it might start causing issues if it starts ripping the mouse out of the palm rest assembly. Alright, so we're gonna put these 4 screws in. Usually I loosely fit them, and then I will tighten them down once I finish getting all 4 in. Okay, you don't have to tighten it crazy tight, but yeah, alright, since this is plastic. Okay, so tighten that in. Finger tight, of course. Alright, there we go. Now that we got all 4 screws back in, we're just going to put the cover back on. Flip this back over. Alright, just line it up. Oops, let me zoom out a tiny bit. Oh, that's too much. Alright, so just line it all up. If you want, we can go from the back first, since that's what we removed last. Alright, I like to do things in reverse, so that way make sure it goes back the same way. Alright, then go back around here, go along the sides, and then go along the front. Alright, and make sure everything is clipping into place. Okay. Alright, everything looks good. This side clip needs to go in more. Oh, that's probably the battery is pushing it back out, so it's a little bit like kind of wiggly there because the battery is pushing back up on it. Okay, so now we're going to put back the rest of the screws. Right, short one there. Right, and the screws actually go in slightly at an angle on the sides there. Okay, longer screw here. Longer screw here. Right, another screw goes in here. Again, these screws go in slightly at an angle. Okay, make sure that you don't put them straight down, or you can actually strip out the screw mount area. Okay, this one as well. This one as well. All right, last 2 screws. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like, subscribe, help others find my videos, share my channel so that they can also fix their own computers. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, bye. Oh, one other thing. Let me make sure, because a lot of times on these laptops, once the battery has been removed... Oh, let me clean the dust off of this too. Once the battery has been removed on these HP laptops, a lot of times there's no BIOS or CMOS battery. So what happens is after you turn it on, it's going to take a while to boot up, and then it's going to complain and say that the date and time was reset or the BIOS was reset. So keep that in mind, and then it's going to tell you to like press F1 or whatever to start it up. So right now the thing turned itself back off. It's turning back on. All right. Hopefully it's not because I didn't seat the RAM in properly. It felt like it was seated properly. So let's make sure. Usually if the RAM isn't seated right or the RAM is bad, it'll start beeping at you. So I think it's just the BIOS thing. So let's see. The light turned itself back on. We'll wait a bit longer. Come on. There we go. See? So there you go. CMOS checksum is invalid. The CMOS will be reset to default. Configuration will be rebooted. Please check your BIOS setup options and see if there's any changes. So usually once this happens, the only thing you need to do is set your date and time correctly on your computer. If you don't set the date and time correctly, then the internet and stuff is going to have issues. All right. So the computer restarted itself. I'm guessing it just reset the BIOS or CMOS settings to default, and it should be starting back up soon. All right, so let's give it a few more seconds. I'm going to take it out and clean up or blow the dust off from the keyboard as well. But there you go. All right, so that's pretty much all there is to this. Hopefully, again, this video helped you guys. Hopefully you guys stayed and watched this part, because a lot of people, if they change the battery, they're going to be confused and be like, why isn't my computer turning on? And then they start holding the power button and actually screw up something on their computer. But anyways, again, thanks for watching. Again, share it, let other people know, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, it's all booted up. Bye.